What do you think makes someone marketable to the college audience?
All right, it's a $1 million question. I mean, I think funny is, you hate to say that, like, you need to be funny, but some people just aren't, and they think that you need to ask somebody else you need to ask an agent if their material is right for the college market. Because just because you work, say, college towns or college bars doesn't mean you're right for the college market. The college market's a very finicky scenario. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of NACA. Have you heard of NACA?
Sure, but
NACA is the National Association for Campus Activities, and that's kind of like the gateway into the college market. That is an organization that has showcases throughout the year. They have 7 regional conferences and 1 national conference, and you submit to showcase there. And if you submit and you get selected, you are one of probably 60 acts over like 3 or 4 days that showcase in front of the college buying audience. So with that in mind, you're 60 acts, but that's not all comedians. That's maybe 12 comedians, and you're vying for a position. First off, it's such a numbers game. You're vying, every comedian in the country that's trying to get in that college market has applied for those conferences. So then when you get to showcase, you're basically just trying to outdo the other comedians. I mean, you're trying to, again, like you said, market yourself. So the material has to be like fitting for that 18 to 22-year-old market. I mean, regardless of, it's the whole Matthew McConaughey lines, we keep getting older, but they stay the same age. It's such that's the statement for the college market. I mean, we keep getting older, but these college kids are always 18 to 22 years old. So the material that you're probably doing, now versus 10 years ago is changed, right? You're starting to do jokes about, like, as your life events, like whether you have a baby or talking about your retirement and IRAs and such. I mean, that shit doesn't go over to an 18, 19-year-old kid that's just left his house. And I know this because I have a college kid now. So he just left last week for college. So, I mean, the great thing is, over the last couple of years, I'm old now. So, but I still kind of keep my ear to the ground of what's good in the college market and I take polls and opinions and surveys from college students. And luckily, I've had in-house free polling services with my kids and say, hey, who do you think's funny out of it? I would pay them, say, hey, watch these comedians and give me a score from 1 to 10. What do you think? And even new people that I think that are on the fence, I would have them do that. So it's just knowing the market and knowing your the audience for that. But you also have to be clean. So when you go to the NACA showcases, you need to be clean. It's a simple scenario where, this came up in the news quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 years. Seinfeld put a spotlight on this. I don't know if you heard the story. That Seinfeld, I guess he was bored one day and decided to do an interview for, I think, New York Times or something, just saying that I don't do colleges anymore. It's too PC. And I was like, well, I call bullshit. I call bullshit because I think you just wanted your voice to be heard that week, because no colleges can afford him, first off. And second, he's clean. So why are you going just creating smoke, whatever, for that reason? It just didn't make any sense to me. I mean, no college can afford $300,000-$400,000 to bring you in. That's the first step. Now Chris Rock, he mentioned that as well. And yeah, I get it. With him, he doesn't want to go to college because, yeah, there will be some frowns and moans if you go too far over the edge, because it is a sensitive culture that we're in right now, and especially in the college market. So my theory is, when I have comedians showcase at a NACA, I just literally just tell them, listen, like, and I say this to every one of my comedians. So if any of my clients are watching, they know that I'm about to say this. I always say that you're performing to not just like a comedy club. You're performing to buyers that are trying to buy you. And obviously, I want them to buy you because that's what I'm here for. It's like, I get a commission of everything we book. So I always say, look at you're not at a comedy club. Look at all those faces, and every one of those faces has a dollar sign over their head. And inside that that dollar sign, there's a balloon on the outside of it. And every time you say fuck, you popped half of your balloons and half of your dollar signs just floated up in the air. Why would you want to screw over your dollars? I mean, gather all those dollars. So that's why that's what I kind of use that cliche for, I guess metaphor, I guess, for the college market. For you're trying to get booked. You're not up there trying to, prove anything. I mean, I've had comedians up there. They're like, I'm not changing my art form. I'm doing my thing. I think I had a conversation with Tommy Johnigan once, and he's like, I'm not changing shit. If they don't like me, tough. I'm like, well, man, you gotta dance a little bit, man. That's what we're here for. It's like, why are you here? It's like, you can go do that in the club as far as that goes. So I love Tommy though, but he's one of the funniest comedians I know. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where the whole, I guess, in a nutshell, like that, it just pays to be clean. I mean, how many times, I've said this many times too, I've been in this business for 25 years, and I've never, ever had a client call me the next day and say, Chuck, man, that comedian was too clean last night. You know how many other times I've gotten that other phone call, the opposite end of that spectrum? Holy shit. Way too many times. I don't like those. I don't like if you tell a comedian to be clean and he's not, and I get that call the next day and say, hey, listen, man, they spent $3,000 on you last night, and you didn't listen to their rules, and you did whatever you wanted to do. That's bullshit, man. Like, you're not being a team player. So again, I mean, and nothing against comedians that perform edgy and dirty. I mean, it's, hell, one of my favorite comedians is Anthony Jeselnik, but can he work the college market? Hell no. Like, no. Like, he's not a college comedian, but you know what? He's making it work the way he's making it work. So
I mean, once you're that big, you have your own fan. You're selling your own tickets. You don't have to necessarily do those gigs.